Thank you so much, Penny. Wow, Patty were powerhouses of women. I feel so honored to be in the same space as you two and the work that you do. So I feel honored already just being with you tonight. Let's say, back on there. All right. And tonight, I want to tell you a story. A story about a 13-year-old girl who comes from a refugee background in Iraq, who arrived to Australia with her mum and younger sister. She came to the country full of hope, full of dreams, and a conviction that she will make it, that she will build a future for herself and her family. Very quickly, though, reality hit. She sat in classrooms as she watched her classmates confidently answer questions while she silently sat at the back. Not because she wasn't capable, but because she was trying to navigate a whole new world in a language she barely spoke. At home, she spent hours trying to catch up. Every night, she cried, wondering if her dreams were ever going to be possible. And slowly at the time, she watched that fire in her melt away. People like her just didn't seem to make it. And with time, that self-doubt started to grow bigger and bigger than her own dreams. Then one day, she came across a story in a newspaper article about a young refugee girl called Teba Mazin al-Fayyad. A girl who, just like her, came to the country as a refugee from Iraq with her mum and sisters. She actually graduated from the same school as this young girl. And with only a few years being in the country, she graduated with a 99 ATAR, a perfect study score in English, and a place in medicine at Monash. In her books, she nailed it with the epic dream. She completely sealed the deal. Now, for that young girl, Teba's story was just not a story of a non-successful student. She saw herself in her. She finally started to see that fire and that dreams come back alive again. Now that young girl was me, 10 years ago. After hearing Teba's story and finding out that she founded an organization called Happy Brain Education, I jumped at the opportunity to join the organization. I heard that they supported students from refugee background and low socioeconomic backgrounds through tutoring, mentoring, and wellbeing programs. So I signed up. I actually signed up thinking it was just going to be an ordinary tutoring program, but boy was I wrong, because it was so much more than that. I joined a community of people who looked like me, who shared my story, who backed me up because they themselves had been in my shoes before, who understood my challenges that I've gone through. Mentors who showed me what was possible. Mentors who showed me the way that no one in my family had ever walked before. Because that's what makes Happy Brain Education different. It isn't just the programs that we run. It's about the people that we surround our students with. People who believe in them not just because they have been in their shoes once before. Over 70% of our team come from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. Over 80% of our team, all the way from ops right to chairperson, come from refugee backgrounds. Every single team member, volunteer, and staff is a young person. So when you combine that kind of environment, that kind of community, with that kind of support and an intentionally competitive program, powerful things happen. So from that 13-year-old girl that was barely speaking English, I ended up topping my class with a 97 ATAR. I completed a double degree in engineering and biomedicine at Monash University, then pursued my career as an engineer, where then I later became the youngest head of operations at a global edtech company. And after 6 years of working at Happy Brain Education as a volunteer, I eventually became its CEO. That organization that helped me find my feet in Australia gave me a chance to lead it. So I've seen firsthand what happens when you give a young person the right support at the right time. Students like Arzu, who graduated our program last year, and I remember this so vividly, her telling me her story during the interview where she said, when I was in Afghanistan, every morning I would wake up before going to school. I would pray and say, oh God, could you please let me come back home alive today? Could you please let me come back home alive today? That was her childhood growing up. And when she came to Australia, joined our program, she not only survived, she thrived. She became the school captain at Hampton Secondary College. She got her dream ATAR, got into her dream course at Wright University, and is going not only studying at university, but is also a mentor with us mentoring students just like her. Or students like Mahul, who also graduated from our program last year, who came to Australia as a refugee from Syria. Within 18 months being in the country, he not only learns English, but ducks his school at Roxburgh Park College with a 9-to-5 ATAR and is now on track to study medicine. These are stories of real people we see every day, because talent is everywhere. Opportunity is not. Since our founding, we've supported over 7,000 students across Victoria. And every single person who's graduated from our scholarship program has gone on to receive an offer at university. So we know that this model works. And this year, we've taken it from Metro all the way to rural Shepparton, because we know that there's this disadvantage that our Metro student space is just so much worse rurally. We piloted the program at Shepparton Secondary College completely online, and we're so overwhelmed by the response. We received 5 times more applications in that school alone than any other Metro school we've ever worked with in the past. 5 times. But we also learned something powerful. The students found amazing, incredible value in the program, but they wanted more. They needed an in-person presence. Online was just not enough. And that's what we want to do next year. We want to run a hybrid program combining online support with the power of in-person connection, community, and mentorship. And that's why I'm here tonight. We're looking to raise $20,000 to fund 2 levels of support with Shepparton Secondary College. First, we want to sponsor 10 students with 4-year intensive support, 10 BCE disadvantaged students with 4-year intensive support, each receiving over 100 hours of support through the full year, including weekly tutoring, one-on-one mentoring, and wellbeing programs. We also want to run 10 capacity building and wellbeing workshops at the wider BCE cohort at Shepparton, where overall we will aim to reach over 700 students through the full year. So tonight, $250 is going to fund 1 student from refugee background of free mentoring and tutoring for 1 month. $600 will fund it for a full term, and $400 will help us deliver in-person workshops in Shepparton, with each workshop impacting just under 100 students. And if we reach $30,000, we will take this model beyond Shepparton and expand to Geelong as well. Because what we're funding here tonight isn't just tutoring, it's what happens because of it. Because I remember hearing of her story back when I was a 13 years old girl, thinking to myself, if she can do it, then why can't I? And my hope tonight is that years from now, you'll have students graduate from our program from Shepparton, just like myself, just like Arzu, just like Makul, standing here before you and telling you their own story, about the mentors that supported them and believed in them, about the community that stood beside them, and about the people right in this room who made it all possible. Thank you.